Photogenics, you going off, going off, going off, going off.
Hello, kings and queens, and welcome to the Qween of Hearts podcast. I'm your host, Qween Leo. If you are a new listener, welcome. And if you are a returning listener, welcome back. Welcome to season 2. We're back with another episode. How is everyone doing so far as we're getting into the month of May? Myself, I would say 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, 1 being bleh. I'd say I'm at like a 6. Life's good. Everything's good. It's just when you're in that, and it's funny because I tell my significant other all the time. I've been telling him recently, like I'm in a funk. I always tell him every day. I'm like, I feel like I'm in a funk. I feel like I'm in a funk, and I feel like this is one of those moments right now. One of those weeks I'm having where it's just not been. It's been a good week, but it hasn't been like the best week. Let's say it like that. As far as life and business and everything, I think life's good in that regard. I think right now I'm just in like a mental gray area where I'm not good, but I'm not bad. Like I'm really trying to get more in tune with my emotions and trying to figure out what this feeling that I'm having is. But overall, I would say that I'm doing pretty good. I feel like I'm reaching a moment in my life where it's time for me to really step up to the plate and perform. I want a lot of things in life. I have a lot of plans for myself, especially in the year 2025, and I feel like I've reached that point of the year where it's like, okay, now all that building up you were doing, from January to May, now it's time to really take those skills, take all that preparation and really put it into something. So I feel like May is going to be my month. I have faith. I have a lot of faith in that. We are, jump starting back with season 2, my personal life is looking great. My business life is looking great. So it's really no complaints. It's just really trying to, I guess, get to that point where I'm happy, where I'm officially happy. Like I'm content with where things are right now, but everything's not where I want it to be. So I think right now it's just that feeling of right before I feel like you get to where your goals are, that feeling right before you reach the finish line. So I'm just trying to stay level-headed and stay, prayed up and just keeping a calm spirit about things. Like I said in my last episode, this season we're big on not sweating the small stuff, not being real pressed about the dumb shit. So I feel like that's what we're working on this month and this season, is really just like not sweating the small stuff and really just focusing on the overall big picture, the grand scheme of things, For season 2, like I stated last episode, our theme, our title is Liberty City. And when it comes to the idea of Liberty City, my hometown, where I was raised, my upbringing, my culture, my spirit, my mannerisms, my morals, my ethics, my values, when it comes to all that, or when it comes to Liberty City, all those things come into play. And I felt like when it comes to the theme or the season, Liberty City, I feel like there's a lot of different points underneath that grand umbrella. So for this season, we're going to take pretty much all those ideas and we've grouped them into 3 categories. And to start off the season of Liberty City, we're going to go into this series that I've been kind of planning. And it's the series of healing your heart, healing the heart. I picked this series simply because when it comes to the title Liberty City, and like I said, my upbringing, my culture, my roots, my values, all these things, I feel like when you get to a certain point in adulthood, we always find ourselves going back to our childhood to learn, to be better adults, to move better in the world. So I felt like with me taking the time to really pay homage and really celebrate my upbringing, we should take the time to heal from all those things from my past, all those things in my life that has happened that have gotten me to this point. It is time to heal from all of those things so that we can move forward. I can honestly say, like, right now in my life, I'm reaching a new place. I'm reaching a new season with new people, with new plans and goals and ideas. And I don't want to bring any of the negative or any of the bad energy from my past into it. And I feel like the best way to leave the past where it is in the past is to heal from those traumatic experiences and to grow from those traumatic experiences. And I feel like overall gaining that closure within myself to move forward in life will then help me succeed, because I feel like I'm realizing that based off of a lot of things that may have happened in my past, I'm beginning to move a certain type of way. And so I feel like it's time to really address those things and really like check those things off a box or off a list and really say, like, there's nothing holding me back from loving someone. There's nothing holding me back from new experiences, new moments, new opportunities. So I feel like this would be a great beginner to this series that is Liberty City. So we're going to jump into first healing the heart. We're later going to go into the aspect of hustle, grind. If you know anything about the city of Miami, it's about a hustle. It's a grind. Like, it's so many people, so many cultures populated in that area. It's such a big county, Miami-Dade. So it's like to survive, to maintain, to sustain, you have to be able to hustle. You have to be able to grind. You have to be able to provide for you and your own. And I feel like having that hungry spirit from my upbringing, from my culture, has driven me to be a successful person, to want more successful things in my life. So I felt like that, again, would be another good aspect to dive in this season. And then last but not least, the third thing we're going to dive in when it comes to this season is the culture. You know, at the end of the day, Miami has shaped the culture in so many ways. You know, the City Girls, Trick Daddy, Trina, Uncle Luke, Rick Ross, Pitbull, like just to name a few heavy hitters, you know, that have come in and really shook the table when it comes to the culture. So I felt like that's another thing that should be dove into when you speak on such a culture-rich area. Why not? Dive into the culture itself. So those are a few things we're going to talk about in this season. But we really wanted to I wanted to get started with this series of healing your heart in this episode, and then the next few episodes we're going to be dealing with that. Being where I'm at in life now, like I said, I'm in new places with new people. You know, I've made new friends. I've have a new person in my life. I'm in new environments. And with that, you know, you have to be open to change. You have to be open to new places. You have to be open to letting people in, these new people in, so you can see if they're good friends or not. So I feel like a lot of times while I've been in these moments in my life, I feel like where I'm meeting new people, I feel like previous actions come out and may sabotage my new relationships and new friendships. And I feel like it's me in the end living in survival mode. And we're going to dive a little bit more into it this episode, but that's pretty much like the gist of this episode is living in survival mode. Like, after dealing with something traumatic and growing out of it and learning how to continue pushing on, pushing forward, even with that trauma, that unresolved issue in the back of your mind, people kick into this like I call it survivor mode, where it's like, I'm gonna compartmentalize and I'm not gonna deal with it, and I'm gonna put it to the wayside and keep on pushing, and they never deal with things. And those things that you constantly push under the rug that you don't deal with, they rear their head out. And then, so with this episode, I kind of wanted to dive in to living in survivor mode, and pretty much how it is just very toxic for your for your growth as a person. Like, I get it, because like, and that's another thing I want to talk about the episode. I want to talk about it this episode because I myself deal with it. I came from a very traumatic relationship and a very traumatic environment prior to my boyfriend, and it just traumatized me to the point where I really put all these guards up, all these shields up, all these walls up, and I just move in this independent, hyper independent survival mode day in and day out, not needing anybody's help, not needing anybody's assistance, not needing anybody, pretty much, just because of things I've gone through. And in this season that I'm in now, I'm with someone who wants to love me, who wants to take care of me, who wants to tend to me, who wants to be that guy that I've always wanted. And to really embrace the things he wants to do for me, to really embrace the things that he does do for me now, I have to learn to open up and accept them. And I feel like when you're living in survivor mode and you're constantly like being your own warrior, you tend to not allow people in. You tend to not let people give you that. You don't let someone care for you. You don't let anyone love you, because you're just so used to, okay, the last person I let love me fucked me up. The last person I let love me did this. So it's like you begin to not want to deal with people like that. Like, as soon as they get on that level with you, you kind of want to backtrack. You kind of want to stop, because you just don't want to take it there and give them that access. And I feel like I do that a lot now with my boyfriend. Like, he wants to do all these things and I don't allow him to. I don't allow myself to be soft enough for him sometimes. And he knows, he understands, he knows where I've come from. So he gets why it's hard for me sometimes. But I feel like in the end, like, he deserves that. He deserves for me to be soft with him. Because the person I was when he met me, the person I was before him, I I no longer have to be that person. I no longer should have to be that person. So I feel like with everything that he has brought into my life, he deserves to see I always say, like, the innocent side of me, because I feel like what ends up happening when it comes to women is like they go through things with men. And I feel like, in a sense, people say like you lose your virginity is like losing your innocence. But I feel like that moment you get with a person and you go through things and it changes you. It changes you from the person you once were, when everything was all hunky dory. The moment that happens, I feel like that's the moment you lose your innocence. So I feel like he's taking me back to a more innocent time, and I should be able to be more open and vulnerable with him because of that. And that's somewhat of what the episode is going to be about today. Is just living living in survival mode, and really like how to unlearn survival mode, because it tends to block a lot of your blessings when you stay, how can I put it, just to yourself and away from people, and you try to put everything on your shoulders and carry everything, when it really in the end takes a village. um So it's like when you have that those people around you, that good circle around you, you have to learn how to drop that armor and just embrace them, because they then become your armor. Um, so like I always say, guys, get your party favors. Today we have two things I got a new water bottle. The Queen is a pink girly, so anything pink, anything like not hot pink. It has to be like a baby pink, like a just pastel pink. Anything pink, it's for me. So I found this new pink cup, and it was just so cute. So we have her filled up to the brim with a nice cold glass of water. And then on the side, just to keep it a little fun, keep it light. And it's funny, this is how I know I'm going into my grown woman shit. When I first started drinking, um, when I first started drinking, I didn't know what I liked first. So, like, probably everyone starts drinking before 21. I probably started drinking, like, when you're young, you sneak in your parents' vodka. So I was vodka first. Then, like, when I got on my own and could, like, get my own shit, I experimented a lot. I drank a lot of tequila. I drank a lot of gin, some brown here and there, Hennessy. Everyone, like, when you go out, if someone's drinking Hennessy, there's always someone in the group drinking Hennessy. So I always find myself on some Hennessy at some point, but just kind of like tried everything. As I got older, I kind of had like a little routine. I would start with tequila, and like if I needed to drink some more, it would like go into other things. But I got like a little routine down. But tequila always kind of was like the party starter. And then as I got even more older, it was just okay, tequila shots. Then I'm drinking tequila and Sprite for the rest of the night. It was actually a dude I used to talk to. He put me on to tequila and Sprite. Um, and it's been like one of my go-tos. Now I might do like a tequila lemonade, tequila pineapple. But tequila's always been like the it girl for me. And like me and my best friend Dom, shout out to Dom. Me and her, like, we go out, we start a day off or the party off with two Patron shots a piece. So tequila's just always been that girl for me. And that then now I'm getting older. Like I used to do like mixed drinks, cocktails with tequila. When I go out, when I do anything now, I literally will drink shot of tequila on rocks with lime. And I'll probably drink like a seltzer on the side, like a high noon or like that's another one I drink at some bar I was at. They didn't have high noon, but it was like another tequila seltzer. It has to be a tequila seltzer. A tequila seltzer, and I'll drink a shot of tequila on the rocks with a lime in it. And so today is no different. Shot of tequila on the rocks with a lime. We're gonna take a sip of her, and it's just very grown up, just straight liquor with just fruit. It's very demure, very classy, very mature. So that's just the type of time I've been on. So yes, everybody get your party favors. That is what we're drinking on today. Before we get into everything, let's take a cheers to season 2, to healing the heart, to the kings and queens in the kingdom, and to Qween Leo. Cheers. Salud. And let's get started, guys. All right, guys. And like I stated earlier, people go into survival mode when they go through traumatic experiences, when they go through things that have really like altered their life. I feel you get into this mode, and like I said, I'm calling it survival mode. You might call it something different, but it's just this mode where you feel like you have to do everything yourself. Like tend, like I said, to be more self-sufficient, hyper independent, and you just kind of like block out people from really being in your circle, being in your space, being in your heart. You really don't let people in. You really are, I wouldn't say standoffish, but you keep people at arm's reach. You may be close to people, you may have conversations and be like all cordial, but in the grand scheme of things, like these people aren't real close to you. They don't know you. And that's just from you like just blocking people off from gaining that access, and being able to know the real you and know the real problems, the real flaws, the real thoughts and mindset of who you are. And it it can be healthy, I guess, in sometimes when you are it can be healthy in the sense of when you are dealing with someone who is mistreating you and you're trying to to exit the situation. I feel like turning on survivor mode to be able to break off that distance and to or that connection and bring that distance in between two people so you can move forward and move on. I feel like survivor mode is key there when it's like you have to choose yourself and you have to do for yourself to be great. um there was a time with my ex where, and like I'm not big, like as I get older I'm not real big on I won't say I'm not real big, let me rephrase it because I know people will mistake it and reword it to make shit sound how they want it to fucking sound. um as I've gone older and I've gone through life, I've grown to understand men and what men are gonna do and what men are gonna how they operate, let's say it like that. I've grown to understand how men operate, and certain things just don't affect me as bad as they may affect the next. Let's put it like that. Certain things may not bother me as bad as they may affect the next person. And back then, however, I was crash out central. I was young, I was dumb, I was gonna do what I wanted to do and couldn't nobody tell me that. I was newly grown. So I was when you're newly grown, you do what you want and you don't really think of the consequences. You don't think how it affects people. You just know you could do whatever you want and you're newly grown, so can't nobody tell you what to do. So I had my crash out moments, and when I was in my previous relationship, I was with a man who didn't know how to treat me, and he did mistreat me a lot. And it got to a point where I wanted to leave. I wanted to leave. I packed up my stuff, but I couldn't go. I became so dependent, codependent on him that it was impossible at that moment for me to just walk away. And it really wasn't super impossible. Like if I really wanted to bite the bullet and like start all the way from ground zero, I could have left. But I think I wanted to leave with some pride and I wanted to leave with dignity. And to do that, I couldn't. And I feel like it put a battery in me to never let him put me in that predicament ever again. And I think from that moment, I put myself in survival mode because I saw how, at the end of the day, only person gonna take care of you is you. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like that is in the moment in my life when survival mode activated. And I knew at that point, no person, no man, no friend, no woman, no human will ever leave me out to dry like this. To to leave me with the only option is to tuck my tail and go back to where I began, knowing good and damn well I have been through too much to turn back. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like that's what activated survival mode for me. And it's like that with people. They may go through moments with friends or family or boyfriends or girlfriends, husbands or wives, where you have to turn on survival mode because it's just too much pain and you've let this person be have this much access to you where they have this much control over you. They have this much influence, and it's like you have to go into survival mode because you need to take back your life. So that's the only moment I can say that going into survival mode is valid. But when you're with someone who's good to you, you shouldn't have to be in survival mode. When you're around a good group of friends that care for you and have your best interests at heart, you shouldn't have to be in survival mode. When you have that significant other that wants you to do nothing but great things, you shouldn't have to be in survival mode. So that's what this episode is going to really discuss, is like when you meet that person, when you meet those people in your life that want you to do great, how do you make space? How do you unlearn survival mode and make space for the love that they're trying to give you? Trauma, which is really like the root of being in survival mode, trauma can really stop a person from wanting to receive love from anybody. You know, when you've gone through things and you've dealt with pain and you've had to protect yourself because the person you entrusted to protect you isn't doing it, you you go through life after that thinking, putting another person in that position in my life is not safe. You go through life thinking giving someone that title of that or having those feelings for that person is unsafe because they are going to mistreat it and they're not going to be there for you when the time comes. They're going to put you in the toxic situations that you didn't want to be in, the traumatic experiences that you didn't want to get put through. So you just find yourself constantly guarding your heart and really pushing people away. And just because you have that expectation that when I open up, they're going to disappoint me. When I open up, they're going to just prove to me why I shouldn't have done it in the first place. And it's painful. I can honestly say like I live it and I go through it and it's painful to feel like that because you you get scared to really I won't say love again because I mean you can really say that because it gets to points where you can really say like yeah I'm scared to love again. I'm scared to be open and give a person my all and see how they are or meet a friend and be cool with them and share my darkest secrets with them and be that person in their corner and hope that when the time comes they're that for me, you know. And I feel like that's it because when you put somebody in these close circles, these close titles to your heart and to your spirit, I feel like we set expectations of them. And then when people from our past don't meet those expectations, we tend to go into survivor mode, you know? Like I said, prime example, my ex put me in survivor mode, when he left, when he did the things he did to me and made me feel like I needed to exit stage fucking left and I couldn't, I felt like I was trapped. That put me in survivor mode. And I feel like I've been in survivor mode since that very day. And now, even with my new relationship, I feel like I bring in those moments from my past into our relationship. And I kind of like, I live in survivor mode with him when I don't have to. And it's crazy because I noticed it more recently because I was having a conversation with someone at work and I had said something. And you ever hear like, we think things before we speak them. But have you ever like said something, but then heard yourself say it and then rethink the whole thing in that very moment? That happened to me. I forgot what I was talking about with somebody, but I had said something. We were having everybody was a bunch of us having a debate about relationships, and I had said something about about relationships. And as I'm saying it to them, like my point of view on the discussion, I hear myself speak, and I'm like, I really just said that. I really, I really said that. I said, oh no. Like, it was like really some like survivor mode shit. Like, it was, it was me. It was like a conversation about new relationships, but my response, you could, it gave insecure from previous shit. Like, it just, you could read the room, not even the room, but you could read the statement and you could see like what it deprived from. And I felt it when I said it. And in that moment, I knew like, girl, you live it in survivor mode and you really need to like take a step back and give people the opportunity, give them the chance, and give them the grace. And then, prime example, like I said, I have to understand I have to give him my boyfriend. I have to give him the grace. I have to give him the opportunity, and I have to give him the chance to be that for me. Um, like I said, I knew my very moment when I went into survival mode. If you are an avid reader on QweenLeo.shop, I do have a post on there, 5 signs that you are operating in survival mode. Go ahead and check that out. But what are the signs if you're operating survival mode if you may not know? Um, Operating survival mode, I would say, is like the I don't need anybody attitude. Like no matter what time of day it is, no matter where it is, even if you're sad, mad, happy, lonely, like any point, any emotion, you still have that I don't need nobody persona or attitude about it. Um, you could be at home at the end of the night, laid up in your bed, and it could feel like you could want like someone to hold you and embrace you, but instead you like fuck, I don't need nobody here. like living in that mantra of like, you don't need nobody, you don't need nobody, I don't need nobody. That's when it's like, like you are truly in survival mode. When every action you do, when everything you feel, when your routine, it's like for you, like there's no interaction with people. There's no, I wouldn't say needing of people, but there's no, I guess like I said, you can really say, oh sorry. You could say interaction with people, but it's really like just being to yourself. Like when you get too comfortable in your own skin, and it's different because like my boyfriend, he's cool with like, he's a popular loner. Like he's definition of popular loner. Like he's a very well-known man, very popular man, but he's such a loner at the end of the day. Like he's such a to himself, cool to kick it by himself type of guy. So it's like he's a popular loner in my eyes. And it's like you could be that type of person, but it's people like he's a popular loner to the point like I said, he's still popular, he's still well known, he's a loner, but like he still walk out and they know who he is. Um, so it's like when you in that loner status, but like don't nobody really know you, like you're in that loner status where it's like you don't really fuck with people, you're in survival mode. That's why I can say I'm honestly in survival mode. The only people that know me is my boyfriend and my coworkers. Like I don't go out, I don't do much. I stay to myself. I work, and I mean I do be doing stuff. I be working, but I'm in survival mode because it's not like I want, like even when I want to do those things, like if I want the interaction in my day, I really don't push to have it or push to go for it. I tend to just be like, I'm cool with myself type vibe. So it's like that's some of the signs you are in the survivor mode. And like I said earlier, hyper independence, just everything you do by yourself, you build it by yourself, you're fixing it by yourself, like you everything you're doing by yourself. Another time I knew I was operating in survivor mode when I was with my ex. It was a lot of times I was playing the handy woman. I was playing Bobisha Builder in my house and fixing things and getting the house in order. And it was a lot of times where I was, like I said, doing these things. It's like I shouldn't be. Like it's nice to have these skills. It's like that's something I want to do or if I'm interested in it. But just because it needs to get done, I shouldn't be always the one doing it. I shouldn't be building everything, fixing everything, just doing everything. Like my boyfriend now doesn't let me. I don't touch a car door. I might if I'm being like nice, if like I don't want him to do too much. But if it was up to him, I wouldn't touch a car door. I wouldn't touch a door, period. It's up to him. Um, but that's just like I said, that's a different type of man. So it's like I shouldn't have to be in survival mode with my current dude because he's not doing those things where it's like you making me do it. And like I don't know if you guys keep up with the queen, but I keep a nice manicure. So it's like I can't be breaking a nail, doing things I shouldn't be doing. So I shouldn't be fixing things, building things, carrying things, lifting things, risking me and my softness. And that's when it's like I was going into a hyper independence because it's like I was doing everything. I didn't need him for nothing. I don't really know what he was there for at one point. To be completely honest with you, it got to a point in my life in that relationship, I don't know what he was there for because he wasn't helping me, he wasn't assisting me, he wasn't keeping me happy, he wasn't pleasuring me. So I don't know what exactly I was keeping him around for, but I was just so in survivor mode and making sure I was straight. I guess I just let him be around for the ride. Um, but those are signs like that you're dealing, you're living, and you're acting in a survivor mode state. Um, and when you get deeper into survivor mode, you self-consciously start doing things. Like there's a lot of times like I would need something done and I wouldn't even ask him, but it was me self-consciously knowing like I can't expect him to assist me. I can't expect him to help me with it. So I feel like that's where that came from. It was me really falling deeply into survivor mode because it got like it's one thing to ask and he tell me no. Like it got to a point though I don't look to you. And that's why I say I don't know what he was there for, because I never really got to a point I stopped looking to him to be my partner, to be my helping hand, to be that for me. But now I feel like I've gotten into a point where now that I've met someone that is the complete opposite of him, I find myself self sabotaging it. And I sabotage it just because I'm still in survivor mode. So I still operate on this wavelength of actions and this wavelength of attitudes and this wavelength of a personality, as if I was with this person that wasn't helping me. When it's like, no, you have to embrace the fact that you have someone helping you. You have to embrace that you have someone here beside you to help you carry on the load. And you have to open up and let that person love you. But it's I feel like it's tough. I feel like it's been tough and kind of rocky early on in our relationship, just because I had to understand how it felt to be loved again. And then I think, and that's why it's crazy with me and him now, because I tell him all the time, like, he's the most honest and the most purest love I've ever had, because it's like he's taught me so much. When it's like I have learned so much in life from him. And like another thing, like I've come to learn from him is I've spent so long in my life wanting to be loved, but I've always wanted to feel it my way and feel it on my terms. And so it's like I'm getting older and I'm in the season where it's like I need to know I'm being loved, but I need to feel it. I need to feel it. So I need to embrace what when it comes to me. And you can't feel it, you can't embrace it if you shut everybody down, or if you close everyone off because you think they're gonna break your heart or they're gonna crash your life out. He tells me a lot of times, all the time, consistently. He tells me every day he loves me. I tell him every day I love him too, but he tells me every day he loves me. And it took he was the first one. He was the first one to say I love you, and it's how I know I was in survival mode, because he was the first one to say I love you. And it took a lot for me to say it back. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think I said it back instantly. I think it took a while. But he was the first one. And it was just me in survival mode because I started to see where it was going. um every time in our relationship I'll have these aha moments where I'll see where it's like this is getting real, and I think I subconsciously start to self-sabotage because I'm still in survivor mode. So it kind of like disrupts our relationship, and that's where it comes all the way back to, like I said in the beginning, this is a very toxic personality trait to have, um because it can disrupt something great. Because he's like, he treats me wonderful, he treats me amazing, and I think because of shit I went through, I allow it to kind of cloud cloud how I see things. But it's just the fact of like, after you go through things like that and you're put in survival mode, you kind of don't even really know what love is anymore. Because last time someone showed you love, they kind of like double crossed you. So it's like you kind of like be kind of stuck on how, like, what is love? How does love feel? And I had to take it into like, love is more than just words. Love is actions. So it's like, I tell people all the time, he's a man of few words, but his actions so much more. He may not say a lot, but like if you really pay attention to what he's doing, he giving you the game. Um, like I said, I think in another episode, Christmas, I needed a mouse for my laptop. Never asked him, never asked anybody. It was just something like I just kept repeating. I just kept saying it out loud. I'd say it around him, but not in the sense like I'm saying it for you to buy it. I would just be around him when I felt the need for it, and I would just say it like, "Oh, I need a mouse." And for Christmas, lo and behold, he ordered me a wireless mouse for my laptop, and it wasn't like, oh, it was on some shopping list and he picked it out. This is something you had to get because you heard me, you listened. So it's like things like that I had to learn with him was like, that's love. fact that I paid attention, I listened to how you told me you needed it, and I got it for you. That's my love. That's how I show my love. No, I'm not going to sit here outside your house in a trench coat with a boombox blowing Boys to Men saying I love you. No, but I'll pay attention to you and get you that mouse you wanted. Or, I heard you keep talking about this restaurant you want to go to, so I'm going to take you to this restaurant for dinner. So it's things like that where I had to understand like he's not going to tell me he loves me, but he's going to show it by doing X, Y, and Z. And I think it comes from my past just because I feel like I was so hyper independent that I never really looked for actions to show that a person loved me because I was just used to a person never showing those actions or like being that type of person. I was in survival mode. So I was kind of like in my own mind and my own vibe. So I feel like I never really took actions as serious because I just wasn't expecting them. You know what I mean? So I was always big on words. But he kind of put into me that like words don't really mean anything. Like you could tell someone anything. It's all about like your actions and how you move day to day that really shows how you truly care about someone. Just like that, we're taking really big steps in our relationship as of recently, and they just show like how much he cares and how much he loves me and loves what we have. So it's like you have to really look for that in a relationship. It's just those actions um, of a person really showing you how they feel about you. And I feel like when people are in survival mode, they tend to lose sight of that and they tend to not really like care to really see if someone is trying to open up and love them. And I feel like that's something you have to work on to really break out of survival mode. You're in survival mode because you've given your heart to other people and they don't know how to love you, they don't know how to treat you, they don't know how to respect you, so you kind of like shelter yourself. But in order to really let someone in and finally feel that love and that feeling, you have to really slowly unlearn survival mode. And I feel like the biggest, well, not the biggest, but one of the main steps in trying to unlearn survival mode is you have to allow yourself to be loved, to be seen, to be supported. Um, when I got when I first got into this relationship with my boyfriend, I'm not gonna lie, like it was hard for me at first because he's such a gentleman. He's so respectful. He opens my doors and he's always like it's like the weirdest things. Like I've never noticed like the whole walking on the sidewalk, walk away from the street. He makes sure I'm not walking on the street. Um, if we're going somewhere, he makes sure we're holding hands so we don't get lost in like crowds. Like it's just being that chivalrous man that I'm just not used to. So like when we first started dating, he was very chivalrous with me. It was a lot for me to take in. And I found myself at times like not even like being able to really receive it. I found myself kind of like pushing it off and kind of like beating him to the punch to do certain things. Like for a while, I would open doors when we went places. I would open my car door, and it took me a minute to kind of get into the habit of like letting him do that. Um, carrying my things. Like he'll carry my purse, he'll carry my bag. It got into the habit of I had to let him do that. Just like we'll go somewhere, we'll get food, we'll be home, we'll be getting out the car. I'm used to like gathering all the bags just from being in relationships where men weren't like that, where I did a lot of the work. I'm used to like gathering all the shit in the car. Before you get out of the car, what you want me to take? I'm not used to that. I'm not used to these things. So me being in survival mode, I used to push it away and I used to reject it. But it took me like really having to soften up and really allowing myself to be loved and be respected and be taken care of, be put up, as the girls say. And I understand it. Like it's hard to come out of survival mode. It's hard to really switch that off because after it happened, like even for me, like when I finally went into survival mode, like it was hard for me to get out of it. Like I'm still unlearning it to this day, and I did this probably 8, 9 years ago, where I was just like, you know what, I gotta get my shit together. I gotta make sure I'm straight. So it's very hard to unlearn that behavior because it's survival mode. It's you almost can compare it to animals in the wild, where they're into survival mode to last, to make it another day. And it's like when you get your heart broken and you're like, I don't want to feel this again, like that's survival mode, because that pain, people don't understand, like getting your heart broke, that pain is a crazy type of pain. And once you experience it and you feel it, like you never want to feel it again. Like even me, like throughout my years. Like I know it's a part of life. You get your heart broken, you live and you learn, but when you feel that shit, you feel it, and it cuts deep. It cuts to the core. So I can totally get why someone would want to get into survival mode and not want to feel that pain again. And then it's like when you meet this person that's a great guy or a great woman or great whoever, and they're trying to get you to come out of that persona and open up, it can be tough. I can say one tip to unlearning survival mode is to start with the small ask. You know, I was so used to doing things myself and being the only one I could depend on. In order to kind of like start getting out of that mode, I had to kind of let him in. You have to let that person in to your life so they can do great things, so they can show and prove that they're a good person, so you can continue to open up. So I had to start with like trusting him with small things, like, if he wants to open the door, I'm gonna let him open the door. If he wants to carry my things, I'm gonna let him carry my things. Then it got more into like, we'll be chilling. He want to rub my feet. I'll let him rub my feet. I won't jump like I used to jump. Like you could ask him, he'll tell you all the time. In the beginning of our relationship, my nerves were so bad being with such a toxic person. So anytime he would like touch me or just do anything, like I would jump, or I would be on alert, because it's like I'm not used to soft, tender touches. I'm used to toxic touches. So my mind immediately goes there. So as soon as you do it, my mind instantly goes there, and I'm on guard. So I had to really unlearn that behavior and like, okay, let him rub my feet, let him rub my back, let him do these things, let him be a gentleman with me. Um, when it comes to even like finances, like let him pick up the check, let him pay the bill, let him buy that, let him do things for you, let him get you gifts. Like open up, tell him like things you like don't be such a mystery to him because you don't want him to use those things against you. You kind of have to let him in. And one thing I had saw reading, like when I was going through my journey of unlearning survival mode, was you don't have to be healed to be held. At the end of the day, we all crave intimacy. We all crave passion. We all crave companionship as in some form or fashion. So it's like you don't have to be healed to get those things. You don't have to be healed to obtain those things. You don't have to be healed to feel those things. So I had to really tell myself, like, I don't have to be in the best place to achieve these things. I don't have to be completely out of survival mode. Like, I can still be somewhat on guard and still get these things. I don't have to, I can shield him from like the major things in my life at first, but I don't have to shield him from the little things. I can let him into my likes and my dislikes. I can let him into what makes me tick and what makes my day. Because maybe he'll do those things. Maybe he'll show up and achieve those things. I told him how I never really got Valentine's Day gifts before. He made sure my Valentine's Day was amazing. Like, it's things like that. Like, you have to open up and let them love you. Don't be so, oh, I don't want it. I don't need it. Don't do that. I don't need you to do that for me. None of that. Like, let that person in. Let that person love you. Allow them to love you and let you be their queen, or allow her to love you and let you be her king. Like, embracing your soft era. Like, you and with embracing your soft era, you don't have to be completely dependent on them. You can let them in a little bit. There's little things you can break off piece by piece, and then finally lead them to the major parts of you. It just takes time, and lucky for you, it's on your what's the word I'm looking for, terms. You can have it on your terms when it comes to unlearning survivor mode. And if it is someone who truly cares about you and they truly do love you, they will understand the type of person you are, understand where you are in life, and they will work with you. I tell him all the time one quote of his that stays with me, that whenever like I'm in doubt or I'm just real concerned or I'm just feeling like anxious about something, I always remember and repeat to myself, we gonna work it out. We'll work it out. Like anything like that's going on with us, we're gonna work it out. So I have to trust in what he says to me, and I have to trust in what I feel and what I see in our relationship. And as we take time and move towards building it, letting go of my survivor mode and really like letting him in, letting him closer to my heart. And as he continues to be a great guy and continues to show and prove, it'll get to the point where he makes it to the finish line. But you have to be with someone who understands the type of person you are, and they're able to heal with you. I tell him all the time, like, I'm growing with him and he's healing with me. So it's a different way of seeing it, and that's how we work our relationship. Like, and I feel like that's how we best understands our relationship. Like in the end, I'm growing with him as he grows in life, and he's healing with me as I'm in this season of healing. So we're not going to be on the best of terms every time. We're going to be at odds. We're going to have our moments, but he understands, like, in my healing, I'm unlearning survivor mode. So I have to take things a little slower, and that works for him because he's at a point in his life where he's growing. So he works with it. We it's a good dynamic, and that's what you have to find. And when you meet a person like this, they're going to be the type of person that makes you want to unlearn this behavior, because at the end of the day, I feel like toxic. I feel like survivor mode to an extent can be toxic because it's not natural. Like, no woman or no person is so, all these guards, and so, ooh, it's hard to get into me and my heart and my head. Like, people aren't normally like that. So I feel like when you're at a good place mentally and spiritually, you're able to move with discernment. So you're able to kind of pick and choose people in your life, but you're able to kind of move at the pace you want to. So you're never really in survivor mode. You move at the pace you want to. You're never really in this behavior where you're pushing everybody away, but you're more so just, how to move with people. And that's why I feel like it's just, at the end of the day, like, survivor mode is kind of toxic, because it's like, it's really like you pushing people out of your life, and you're really in this real true hyper independent mode. And that's not what the world's about. If that was the case, we wouldn't have all these people on earth. So survival mode is not good for you. Like I said, a good step in unlearning survival mode is opening up and allowing yourself to be seen and supported, and embracing your soft girl or soft guy era. Guys do, I feel like, have a soft era too. It's not as soft as women. I feel like women's soft era is really them, like, put up like total princess mode. I feel like for men it's more of a not as macho. And, like, I use the word macho because I feel like it's the best way to describe it, because it's not like masculine, because we do love our men masculine, but I feel like it's that macho feel, that macho, um, like, cocky arrogantness that comes with survival mode for men, because they come with this attitude like they don't need anybody, like they could do it all on their own. And I feel like it's good to have that, that idea that you don't need anyone, as especially as a man. But I feel like every man needs a woman, or it needs a companion. Let me say it like that so we're more open. Every man needs a companion of some sort, and no man can sit out in this world by themselves and tell me that they're cool and copacetic. Any man that says that they're cool and copacetic with no companion in their life at all, you're living pure D in survival mode, and you need to seek help. But I feel like if you embrace the fact that I feel like you are in survivor mode and you're in denial if you're like that. But if you are out here and you are, like, moving like that, but you still do date women, I think you're in survivor mode, and it's like a subconscious thing. Like you're subconsciously in survival mode, but you're still here trying to get you a companion. But if you were completely like that, then you're definitely like totally survivor mode. But I feel like yeah, you have to embrace your soft era and just because at the end of the day, that's what you want. I feel like even with me, like I'm in my survivor mode, but at the end of the day, I want my soft girl era. So I feel like I need to find the man that's gonna give it to me. So if I meet a guy and he's treating me this certain type of way and things are going great, I can start breaking down those world walls and embracing my soft girl era and being soft with him and not being so, oh, I got it, oh, I don't need you. Like no, like let him be a man, you know. And that's how I also know I'm working in survivor mode because I've always been big my entire life. I love a man that's a man. Re-listen to that. Play that back. Let me repeat it for you. I'm gonna say it again. I love a man that's a man. I love a man that is masculine in his skin, that is a man's man. You know what I mean? Like, and it's I feel like man's man can be subjective how you hear it, but for me, I feel like it means like you you are such a provider, such a boss, such a leader, like such a man. Like I don't know, and I guess that's just my aspiration for a man. I feel like a man has reached true manliness when he's that type of guy, when he comes into a room and he can control the room, when he can handle business, when he can be funny and witty and when he could be so in his shit that it puts me in my place, you know. I love a man's man, like, because it's gonna make me be a man's woman, and I'm a submit, and I'm a be soft for you. So I feel like once a man embraces that, then I'll get out of like survivor mode. Because I know, like, in survivor mode, I ain't even pressed about that. Like, when I'm in survivor mode, I'm big on, oh, I got it. I'll take care of it. I'll do it. I got it. You know, I'll take care of it my damn self. Like, that's me. So when I know I'm not operating in my submissive soft side, that's when I know I'm in survivor mode. You know, and then there's gonna be those people that are like, well, if you are soft with a person and you're being a man's woman, you fall into being dependent on them. And that has the risk. You do run the risk of being very dependent on them or even like codependent on them. But I feel like that's on you. And I feel like you have to be very healed to get to that point in a relationship. Because once you reach that point where you really embrace your soft girl moment, you have to understand within yourself what it means and how to not fall into a codependent stage where you find yourself, how can I put it, completely dependent on this person, completely moving off this person, completely, your life is attached to this person. It's a fine line between soft girl and codependency, but you have to be very, I feel like you have to be very healed to know the difference. You have to be very healed to straddle that fine line without crossing into the wrong area. Because it's very easy because I felt myself at certain times early in our relationship now, like I felt myself being like, oh, you need to back up. Oh, you need to slow down. Or, oh, you need to fall back. Because I would just find myself just doing too much at a certain time. Like we're not there yet, but it's just because for one, like I said, I'm a man's woman, and I'm very soft, and then I'm just very like nurturing. And like once I fuck with you and I kind of get that vibe about you, my nurturing side kicks in. But I have to understand that everyone can't get that off the muscle. They have to really earn that side of me because the nurturing side of me is so pure and so genuine that not everybody should get access to that. So I'm now learning like I need to just take a step back and wait before I give people that energy. So I had to catch myself early on because he was going to get that energy, and then I could find myself slipping back into a codependency because my previous relationship wasn't, it was a little, it was like a year before him, but it was so, you have to remember it is still such a long relationship. We have been together for over a decade. So it's still a lot of history there. So it's still a lot of, I feel like when I met him, it probably was still a lot of hurt there. So I feel like a rebound or like a codependency was bound to happen if I didn't know how to really maintain and manage my emotions and really have that self awareness to be like, girl, you falling back into it. Give yourself a second, you know. Because I feel, like I said, as you heal, you'll learn. You'll learn the difference between, like I said, okay, now I'm falling into a codependency. Now I'm falling into my soft girl era, which is like a happy independence, a healthy independence within a relationship or within a companionship, and then that hyper independency. Like as you heal and you go through your stages from whatever puts you in survivor mode, you'll learn like how to distinguish these certain stages and to how much to give yourself and where to put yourself at in these moments. Like, when should I put myself into a hyper independent stage where I don't need anyone? When should I be able to put myself in a soft girl moment? When should I be able to put myself into survivor mode? When should I be able to cut this off because I've met this person that does this? Or when can I cut this off because I've this person has come into my life and done these things. Like, you have, once you're healed, and I feel like you go through all the emotions and the seasons and the stages, you will be better able to differentiate between when to be soft and when to be independent. But when you are in the season of having new people in your life and having new experiences, you have to slowly learn how to you have to slowly learn how to unlearn toxic behavior so you can better enjoy life and better feel things and better feel love. Because some people go through life going through a lot of shit, and it causes them to kind of shut down from the whole world, and in the end you miss out on so many great experiences and so many great people. So it's having to be that tough person all the time is not always needed. um, but that's my bit on survival mode. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about just not so much survivor mode, but how it looks to really receive love after being hurt or disappointed. So stay tuned for that. Okay, and we are back. But yeah, diving into really kind of piecing off of what I said before the commercial break. Like I said, you when you're in survivor mode too much, you miss out on so many great people and so many great opportunities. So sometimes you have to really take a moment, step out of yourself, and really see the bigger picture. I feel like a lot of times people block their blessings um, when it comes to just like love or just like new relationships in your life in general, just off the fact of being scared of being vulnerable. You know, you might meet someone in your life, and that first time you're vulnerable, they break your heart. Every moment from that point on, you're very cautious of being vulnerable. You're very cautious of letting down your guard and just letting people in. And I feel like when it finally works out for the best and you meet someone who does have your best interest at heart, I feel like you find yourself really pushing them away 9 times out of 10 and really self-sabotaging the love and the relationship and the bond just off the strength that you you're used to people coming in, getting you to this point and breaking your heart. um So a lot of times people, like I said, they put their guards up and they don't let people in. They don't let people near them. They don't let people near their heart and their emotions and their feelings. And they're just pretty much like a brick wall. Um, And one thing about getting out of survivor mode is understanding, like, it is okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to let people in. It's okay to receive love and be loved. A lot of times, like, even myself, like, I think a lot of times through the stage of leaving my ex and getting to where I'm at now, I found myself feeling like I wasn't worthy of love. There's a lot of times he used to tell me that no one would love me in the world but him. It was a lot of times he said no one would want to be with me, and it was really him trying to get in my mental and really make me feel like no one could really care about me and no one could really be that person for me. And I feel like I took that into a lot of relationships after him and a lot of things after him. I really was like, does this person love me for me? Does this person care about me? And I feel like with me being in survival mode, I never really take it as someone really loves me or really cares about me, because I always think back to what he said, like, oh, no one will ever love you, no one will ever love you. And it's like I have to really unlearn that behavior and those things that I programmed into myself and really allow this new love in, and be vulnerable. um I feel like people avoid intimacy because they feel like if you avoid it, it keeps you safe. It keeps you in this gray area where you can't get hurt, you can't be manipulated, you can't be played. But one thing it also does, it keeps you very lonely. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be lonely my whole life. Like, I want to experience, like I said, going into this, I want to experience life. I want to experience things. I want to be happy. And if I go through life with my guard up 24/7, I'm never going to get those moments. I'm never going to be able to experience and feel things. Let them be loved, let them not be loved. But at least they're things. Like, at least they're moments. And you're like, they're going to be good. There's going to be some shitty ones. They're going to be ones that, upset you and break your heart. But you're going to also have those really good moments that really teach you a lot about life and teach you about a lot of things going on in the world, and how people work and how life works and everyone's plan here. So when you're deep in survivor mode and you don't want to let people in, you have to push through that fear and that what really it's all it is, that fear of being vulnerable. You have to push through that, and you have to let people in. You have to not self-sabotage. Like, I find myself, like, I can acknowledge it now, because at first I didn't know what I was doing. I just was living. But I see now, like, I self-sabotage a lot of situations because I'm fearful of putting my heart in and getting hurt and getting heartbroken and getting played. So I do walk with this armor on, and I put a distance between me and people. And I see it now. I never used to see it before, but I definitely see it now. So it's like you have to, and it's something I'm working on, like, in my season. Letting the armor down, saying fuck you to the fear, and just seeing, just experiencing. Like, don't see everything as relationships, love, marriage, happily ever after, white picket fence. Some things are just experiences. So sometimes just get out there and experience things. Don't so much look for a return on your investment all the time. And if you are that type of person that needs a return on your investment, don't set your return on your investment to be long-term relationship, marriage, this, that, and the third. How about just let it be what it is at the moment? A good time, a good season, potential to be a great lesson. But, also have the knowledge and the common sense within yourself to see red flags, to really be like, hey, this ain't it. But I feel like when you get to relationships where you're at this point and you're trying to unlearn survival mode, you're really not in relationships with shitty people. You probably gotten to this point because you're with someone you kind of truly want to work things out and, like, be someone to be in your life long term. So if that's the case, I feel like you can be more vulnerable and be more open to these people because they've made it to this point in your life to deserve that. And it's nerve-wracking and it's scary, and you're gonna get those butterflies in your stomach. It's funny because I tell my dude now, like, I get nervous to this day around him because it's new. You're waiting for the punchline. You're waiting for the gag. You're waiting for the carpet, the rug to be pulled from underneath you. So you're constantly like nervous. Like I'm always nervous. Like something crazy is gonna happen. Like some terrible shit's gonna come out the woodworks, and it doesn't. And it's like it's one of those things where it's like you kind of, like I said, going into self sabotage. You're expecting something to go down, or expecting something bad to happen, and it never happens. And life just be good, and you just be chilling, and you just be happy. And and after a while, you gotta really just be like, you know what, I can really like let loose. I can really be open. I can really be myself with this person. As you go through life and you're dealing with this person, they more and more come off safe. They're more and more or protective of you. They're more consistent. I tell my boyfriend all the time, consistency is key. Consistency sets the foundation for so many things, because once something's consistent and there's that discipline, there's that discipline. That everything's good because there's that discipline. Um, when it comes to like sports, and I get it because I'm watching the game right now, but like at the beginning of the season is training camp. They don't have to wonder if these people are coming. These players have that discipline to know, like, this is my career, this is my job. I will be there. I will be in attendance. I will do what's necessary. And I feel like that's how it is in relationships. When you're with someone and they really care about you and they really have your best interests at heart, they're going to have that consistency. Life will not be chaotic. They will be one of those soft and safe people in your life that you can depend on and you can consistently look to, and they will be there for you all the time. And as you grow, you start to understand. And like I said, when you go through toxic things, it really teaches you a lot about yourself, what you want, what you expect. And it's like you really see what consistency means to you. um, for me, it's just that person constantly showing up in every avenue, um, whether it be communication, whether it be spiritual, emotional, physically, like just being present, just being there, just being that person where, like, what me and my dude call it is like my corner man, my wing person. Like when I'm in that boxing ring and I'm going at life, and it's my rounds up, and I go into my corner for regrouping, you are there. That's what consistency looks like to me. Having your corner man in life. Um, so when you see people that have those qualities, and they are that person for you, I feel like it should be easier for you to really let down your guard and embrace the soft era and unlearn, you know, me, a world of me. Because at the end of the day, survivor mode protected you when it needed to. But when you find that person that really cares about you and really wants to embrace you for the soft girl that you are, it'll help grow you into a stronger, confident, more secure woman. And as you go into the relationship and you're releasing this energy of aggression and self-independence, and you fall more into a give and take with your partner, you will see that receiving love and receiving that from your person is a strength, and it's not a weakness. And you shouldn't be ashamed of opening up your emotions in fear that someone's going to break your heart. Because at the end of the day, you deserve love, and you deserve a love that feels like peace. It feels like daisies and roses. So it's it takes time, one step at a time, but we are here for the end result. All right, guys, and that is all for today. Thank you again for tuning in to the Queen of Hearts podcast. Um, Find me on Instagram. My creator page is at the Qween Leo. My podcast page is Qween of Hearts Pod, and my brand page is Qween Leo LLC. It's a tongue twister. Um, Subscribe to our website, queenleo.shop. If you scroll to the bottom, you will find all of our social media platforms: Pinterest, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, we have it. So go on, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that shit. Get linked in with the kingdom and the queen. Come back next week for another episode in our series of Healing the Heart. Again, this is your host, Qween Leo, signing out. I will see you later, kings and queens. Deuces.
Gen X, you going off, going off.